Hi, this is Jerry Borger with 2Pint Software. In today's video, I'm going to cover the installation of StifleR Dashboard 2.10. Before we begin, let's go ahead and talk about prerequisites. First thing you'll need to do is make sure that Microsoft.NET Framework 4.8 is installed. If you're running on Server 2022, it'll already be included as part of the OS. If you're running Server 2019, you'll need to download this separately and install it. The installation account that you're using must have administrative rights on the machine. And you'll need to install Internet Information Services. But I'll cover the process of installing IIS as part of this video. So let's go ahead and start with the installation. Here I am on the Windows Server 2022 machine that I'm going to install the StifleR Dashboard. This is the same machine I installed the StifleR Server, but you don't need to install it on the same box as the StifleR Server service. It can be installed on any Windows server that has IIS installed. I haven't installed IIS yet, so I'll just go ahead and go through that process. So I've opened up Server Manager. Let's go ahead and open up Add Roles and Features Wizard. All right, so at the Add Roles and Features Wizard, we'll go ahead and next. Just go with the defaults. And then scroll at the roles selection, we'll go ahead and select Web Server. And that'll include the management tools. Next. Then when you get into the role services, the only component that's absolutely required is Windows authentication. Check that, and then I'll go ahead and next. And pretty much ready to go, and go ahead and install. I'll go ahead and let this run. Okay, it looks like the installation was successful. I'll go ahead and close this out. Then we'll bring up Administrative Tools. Open up IIS Manager. Okay, here I'm in IIS Manager, and we'll just double check some things. It looks like we're able to connect into the management services, and it looks like the default website's there, and that's good enough for me. I'll go ahead and start the StifleR Dashboard installation. This is the dashboard installer. I've opened up a command prompt, administrative command prompt, and I'm going to go ahead and just execute the MSI. Okay, so at the installation wizard, you see a welcome screen. Just go ahead and feel welcome, then click next. And of course, please review the end user license agreement. And then at this point, you have a couple options here to define the two URLs that you'll be using, that will be used to connect the SignalR as web services, and then the actual URL for the dashboard web service. Now, during the StifleR installation, you had a choice to choose ports for these. These are the default ports, 1414 and 9000. If you didn't make any changes to the installation of the StifleR server in regards to these ports, you just leave these. If you chose HTTPS or are using HTTPS, if you've changed it after the installation, you'll have to reflect that as well in this URL. I haven't done that. I'm just using the default, so I'm just going to leave it as is and click next. Okay, so at the dashboard website configuration screen, this is essentially where the web app will be installed. And if you've just installed IIS just like I did, you will have the default website. You do have an option to create your own website, in which you would be able to, you'd have to do that prior to this, and then you can select that website in this dropdown. But since I'm just using the default website, I'll just leave it as is. You can also change the name of the web app. I'll leave it as is. And if you, for some reason, decide you wanted a custom application pool, that you can create that if you like in IIS, and then just select this box and then choose the app pool that you want to use. I'm going to use the default app pool. I'll go ahead and just click next. And then at this point, at the destination folder, this is where the installation files will be loaded on the server. If you prefer another volume or folder, feel free to change it here. Next. And then we'll go ahead and start the install. Be very quick to install. As you can see, it is finished. I'll go ahead and click finish, and we'll go back into IIS. And we'll go ahead and refresh this. And under the default website, you should now see the StifleR Dashboard web app. And the only thing really you need to do in regards to configuration is double clicking the authentication. And anonymous authentication should be disabled. Windows authentication should be enabled. Go ahead and double click this. Under advanced settings, we recommend that you uncheck enable kernel mode authentication. Okay, and under providers, there's a couple options here, but let's go ahead and remove the providers for now, and we'll go into a couple different options. So if the machine that's hosting this server is running as a non-domain joined server, we recommend using NTLM as your provider. So you can click add here and use NTLM and hit OK. If this server is a domain joined server, we typically recommend that you use negotiate Kerberos and hit add, in which that'll show up, and then hit OK. At this point, you're pretty much good to go, and we can double check to make sure that we can connect to StifleR. Okay, zoomed out a bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and open up this a link I had to the StifleR dashboard. And the first time you try to connect, you're probably gonna get prompted for authentication, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put in my credentials. Probably get prompted a couple times. If so, just put in their credentials and it should cache those for you. Here's the StifleR dashboard. To make sure that you are actually connecting with your as authenticated, then you should be at the top right of the screen. You should see your credentials that you've logged in as well as this sort of green connected icon here. And at this point, it indicates that you are connected. Other things that you can look at to see if you're actually connected is you'll see this actual StifleR server software version, or licensing information, for example, etc. At this point, where the StifleR dashboard is installed and looks like you're able to navigate and start working with it. So I'll go ahead and wrap this up and end the video. And we'll be producing further videos that will go into the different sections and other configurations that you might need to go through to configure this server for production deployment or in a POC environment. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.